Hi and welcome to this week's YouTube vlog from Buttonall Burner Services, and I hope we're all okay. Thanks for everyone that subscribed last week. We love people that subscribe because it makes us very happy. And for the people that haven't subscribed, please do, because we'll love it. And thanks for the comments we had last week as well. A couple of the comments, we were, yes, very aware that people that watched the video last week might well have felt sick, or felt sick even, for the pure reason that we had a new camera and we've realised that we was going far too fast with it. So we apologise about that, and we will try to improve it if we can. If not, we'll have to think of another way of doing it. Anyway, moving over quickly to this week's vlog. It's going to be a morning with me, and it's going to be recorded by my niece Isabelle, who I'm on my way to get now. It's just about 8:30. I've already been out this morning and done a job. I was in the office just after 6:30. Then I popped to see somebody to look at some controls, work some bits out with the boys to get them going for the day, and now, as I say, I'm off to get Isabelle. Once we get her, I think we're going to do a service on a Sapphire, and then I need to go and look at a problem with a boiler that we looked at a few weeks back. It's got like delayed ignition on it now, so I need to go and look at that. So enough of me talking, let's get on with this week's vlog. And I'm back, and amazingly, I can't believe it, because she's starting half an hour earlier than what she should. There she is young Isabelle.
Hello.
So Isabelle, what are you going to do today for us?
I'm filming!
She's filming, and she's actually going to film properly, unlike us last week. So we are going to a village called Sapphire, and we are going to do a Sapphire. We are servicing the Sapphire. The idea with this is to get a bit of experience what I do in the morning, so to speak. So we're not going to show you all the service, we're going to show you parts of it, because we're not going to show you the whole world about Sapphire every week, even though they're our favourite. But the other amazing thing is that I've got a coffee and Isabelle's got a tea, wherever it is. Oh, it's over there somewhere, but she has a tea. There it is, she's got a tea. We're going to Sapphire, we're going to do the Sapphire, and then after that we're going to work our way. Probably I might treat it to McDonald's, but we'll see how we get on. Over to the job in Sapphire. Here we are, Isabelle.
Yes.
This is the 2-year-old Sapphire, so let's hope that it's still okay, shall we? Because at the end of the day, it needs to be. Otherwise, I've failed in my installation, haven't I? What I love about Sapphire, that's basically my toolkit with the bits in it that I'll go through in a minute, and I need this bag and a hoover. That's it. First thing I'm going to look at is the oil tank whenever I do a service. This is a bunded oil tank, and immediately this is not to regulation. So it's too close to this fence here. Would work if you got that. It should be 2'6" away from there, and this has got fire protection. It hasn't got enough around the oil tank here. It should be 30 mil or 1 foot of concrete all the way around, and that's clearly not. So it's failed there. And also it should be 6 foot away from these eaves up here. And as you can see, it's not. So I will be putting a sticker on that, and I'll be issuing a CD14 for that. Right, so we are going to put, even though it's a garage, we're still going to put a towel on the ground, because then we don't make a mess of the already dirty floor. There we go. Sapphire, as you can see, I installed this, so we've still got the nice insulation up there. The mag one someone's hit, because that should be there, and now it's leaking, so I need to turn that off. That was a silly thing to do, wasn't it, Isabelle?
Yes.
And we'll do that up in a minute. Okay, we're going to pop the top off here. Loads of flies. The first thing I notice is here, the LCD. It's just sort of not quite clear here. It's missing a few bits, so I will get one for that, because that is failure there, which is fine. And then obviously you can see it's got quite dirty in there, because obviously of the conditions we're in, because it's a garage. So that's fine. Right, I will go and get a hoover, Isabelle.
Okay.
So we're going to turn it off. Doink, like so. Does that feel right? Yeah, that's good. Okay, I'm just going to pop outside and check out here to make sure that the flue's okay, which it is. You haven't got to look at it, but you can if you want. It's up there. Can you see that? Not really, can you? There it is. And that's all okay. We've got no leaks out there, so that's good. So I'll come back in to the boiler. This is basically all I use on the Sapphires is this. The boxer goodies. This is a spares box that you buy when you actually become a Sapphire registered company or installer or whatever. You've got the option of buying this as well. So in here I've got a spare PCB board, which I have had to fit one actually. Some spare cones, because I've had a few of them that have cracked. I've got a fuel pump in here, or a couple of fuel pumps. And then we've got in here, we've got a transformer. And then I've just got basic stuff like electrodes there. I've got gaskets which are here, and then we've got a spare couple of cones if we ever need to downgrade the boiler, and bits and bobs like that. And the whole job I literally do with these tools. Good old Weaver tools, one of my favourite. So I've just got a 10mm spinner, which is here, and I've got these two little kits here. This is for, I don't know why I picked this up, this is for the outside one. I just use this for undoing the cabinets. Okay, but we've basically just got these two sets here, which I'm going to lay down. One, Dana, and two, Dana, and three, a torch. That's fine. Right, here we go. So we're going to pop the two plugs off like so. Okay, it's still too hot. The boiler's very hot, Isabelle.
Oh.
We're going to have to be careful. Let's get a screwdriver. Okay, these are really easy to get the nozzles out of. So literally you undo that grub screw there like so. 2 turns, lift, pull. Then as you can see, the nozzle's a little bit dirty, but I'll sort that out in a minute. I can now just clip that into here. Like so, job done. Next, we are going to remove the digital cell there, which we'll lay down there very gently. And we're going to pull, there's two, you can see there's an air hose here. Okay, for the air, that's a unit that detects the air and that. It's the bottom bit that sticks out there where we pull it off. We're just going to undo number 1. We're going to undo number 2. Great filming, Isabelle.
Thank you.
We're going to pull the 2 HT leads off like so, and we're going to pop that off. Like so. We'll always get it the wrong side of that, but there we go. And that's it. So there we have the transformer. There's the pressure sensor unit there, and there's your HT leads, and obviously your photostyle cell there. Okay, so we're going to move that out of the way gently. So we have got basically 4 Allen keys to undo now. This is such a simple thing to take apart, but as I say, unfortunately, this is a bit hot that I would like. Oh yeah, it's burning my thumb. They're all the same size, so don't worry about if you're going to get muddled up, that's absolutely fine. And very slowly pull this back, because there'll be a cone behind there as well. There we go. So we're just going to pop that back. That's the air intake hose there, and that's your fan. So we're left with this here. So the next thing I do is I get my torch before I go any further, and I go in there and I look at the electrodes, and to me the electrodes actually don't look too bad. Okay, so we'll probably leave them in there. I'm going to also look in there to make sure that the blast tube's still in place, which it is, so that's very good as well. 10mm spinner, here we go. Right. 6 of these. And as you can see, I've already put a mark, because I've been in here before at the top. Can you see that up there? Yes, you can. There you go. All right, so that means we keep it the right way, basically. So we'll just undo these. Going back a step, there is a tiny gasket here, but that's fine. It hasn't broken by. If needed, I would change that, but I'm not going to. And we need to make sure that that little sensor, like that's a bit of glass there, is clean both sides, because obviously that's where the sensor is, basically there, wherever that is. And that sits there like that when it's in the housing, so that's where you detect the flames. So we just need to make sure that's okay. Right, let's continue here. Going to carefully and there we go. So there's the assembly now. Now the first thing I notice, blast tube, an angle. So I just need to push that back and twist it around, because we have had a couple that have done that. So I'll do that very shortly. I'm going to put that down there. It's a bit warm. Let that cool down. And the next thing we've got is a foam, not a foam, it's like a rope seal style gasket. It's made of some heat resistant material. So it come off that way. Again, I'm just going to pop a mark on there. Or maybe I'm not, Isabelle, because I haven't got a pen on me. Here we go, I'm only joking. Right, there we go. It's at the top there. I'm just going to pop that down there. And I'll get a torch, and there it is, look. That's after a year of running. So what we're going to do now, because these are really easy to clean, they're baffleless. Apart from that, they're baffleless. They've got a few bits going on in the back. I'm going to clean here and here with a brush, just gently in here. And then at the bottom here is your condensed trap. In this case, what I would normally do, if it had no pump like this one, and it went straight to a drain, I would just wash in there. It would go straight through, down in the trap, down the drain, and then I'd clean the trap. But in this case, it's different because of the pump. I don't want to fill the pump up. So I'm going to undo that nut. I'm going to put a wet vac on the bottom. I'm going to clean that, and we're going to wash it through, and it's all going to go in the wet vac. Right, so I'm just going to give this little brush up here. Normally I would use a Henry, but because there's such a little amount to do, it's not worth worrying about. It's had a little weep there, but that's an old weep. I've changed the gasket. Don't think it's sealed correctly the first time, so that's old. That's not current. Done that within about 3 hours of it running. So that's all been done. Even though essentially this isn't the running part of the boiler, it's still nice to make it look nice. Otherwise it doesn't look like you've done a proper job. See, isn't that better, Isabelle? Yes. We're just going to release the condensed strap at the bottom now, so we can put that round there. Now let's cool down a bit. Here we go. That's the condensed pump there. As I say, we've only got 2 that have got the pumps on them. We tend to try and get them into drains where we can. You have to be careful when you pull this back because there's a little washer that's behind there that you can't knock. The wet vac's going to go on the bottom here like so in a second, but I'm going to clean in here first. So we'll give it a good clean. I don't go mad in here, just a very light brush like so. Let's get the hoover going. As you can see, I'm using a bronze brush, not a proper hardcore wire brush. And I'm just taking it off gently because then I can't damage anything. And a lot of that's dropping through to the bottom at the moment, but I'll pick it up in a minute. Give a bit of my brush and just finish that off. You don't have to go mad because it basically just falls off on these. Better already, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Just a bit of soda crystals and very liquid in here. So I'm just going to pump her up. I'll make it easier like so. And then we're just going to wash in there. You can see the dirt coming off the back there. See that over there? I don't know if you caught that, did you? But all the dirt coming off there nicely. So it's not very dirty, this isn't at all. You can see it's totally different already. Voila, that looks so much better. Now I've done that, I'm going to just release the pressure in here. I'm just going to pour some down here, just to wash it through. And as you can hear, the wet vac is now picking it up as well. So the wet vac's still picking it up. That's about 4 litres have gone in there. So we'll just wait. Now as you can hear, the wet vac has calmed down. So that's now clear, so that's now clean in there. And I've washed it through and it's gone all down there and it's gone through. So that boiler is now clean. And there we go. It's as simple as that to clean one of these. So what I'm going to do is now, I'm going to undo this and I'm going to check this condensed trap here. That was actually not too bad. That had a bit in it. Everyone knows how to clean a condensed trap, so it's pointless me showing you because you just put water on one end and it comes out the other. I won't lie, where the Jubilee clip is there, it was a bit of a pain to get back on again, but it's done now. Right, now that's done, I'll move the fire valve out of the way. That should be a bit higher actually. I'm now just going to clean the bottom here. Again, just a hoover and a general brush. Now before I finish, I'm going to wipe this out as well because it's a little bit stained as well. So it's always best to do the best you can with it. So reverse order, we're going to put this back. You can see this is immaculate still. It's immaculate this tight and it's still very flexible, hasn't gone hard at all. So we're going to spin that on like so and we're going to put that back. That's going to go up. Like so, okay? Then we're going to come back to this, the main assembly here. As I've already said, this is wrong. It's cooled down now, so it needs putting in and twisting. That'd be okay now. It's as simple as that. So we're going to give this a little brush off, but as you can see, it's a bit pointless because there's nothing on there. You see that? Absolutely pointless. That. We're going to look down here, double check the electrodes. They look absolutely fine. Everything's in place. So this, as far as I'm concerned, is all good to go. Like I said to you before, there's the little mark for the top, and that gasket is in good condition as well. We'll just give that a little wipe there. Yeah, that hasn't gone anywhere, so we can plonk this back in again. When you've got a condense hose there, it can be a bit tricky, but get around the nozzle hose there, and here we go. Back to we say, we're just going to put the 10mm back now, all on there. This is 10mm, and we're just going to nip them with the driver, and literally I do opposites. So there's one at the bottom there, one at the top here. So we're just going to turn this one round like so, nip. We're going to do this one up here, nip. Okay, and I'm going to do that one, that one, that one, that one, and we will be back. I'm going to change the nozzle next. What is great, again, well done EOGB, they think of the engineer. Normally what you have to do is get a spanner here, and try and undo it. But in this case, on here, it goes into there. There's a little bit it can go into there, and then all you have to do is get your spanner and popping it undoes. It's as simple as that. So I'm just going to take that out, have a look behind. Yep, that's not too bad behind. There's a bit of dirt there, we need to check the filter. I'm just going to pop off and get another nozzle. And the good news as well, rather than losing all the oil, you can just pop this back into the holder for safekeeping. Okay, Isabelle, I'm off to get a nozzle, alright?
Yep.
I'm back. One nozzle. So with a nozzle, always make sure you hold it on the edge and not the middle. Just going to pop that back in there. Like so. Again, put it in there gently without damaging it. Like so, and then get your spanner, 16mm, nip. Okay, so that's that part done. I'm just going to pop that back. Oh, when you're doing this, try not to spin this too much. It needs to be 4 to 5 threads to fire the boiler. That's your adjuster. So just make sure that's out the way. And now what we're going to do is we're going to put this back in again. So before we do that, we're just going to take the cone out. We're just going to, as you can see, it's quite dirty there. We're going to give it a little brush off. Like so. That's a slightly bigger cone there, so it's for the slightly higher output. It's smaller if you have a lower output on the boiler. So you just change the cone. Okay, so we're going to put that on there. And then we're going to line it up. And we're going to basically pop that back in the hole, like so. And all at the same time, line up the Allen keys. There we go, into place. So let's put them back in. Now one thing I get caught out with myself quite a lot, and I forget, is that the ones on the left don't do up tight yet. For the pure reason I have got to put extra stuff on. So I normally end up doing it all tight, and then once I've done that, I have to end up undoing them again. So let's get that lined up a bit better. Which that is not doing. Let's have a little look. There we go. These can be a bit fiddly, but most of the time they go first time, which this one hasn't. There we go. Never do these up tight to start with anyway, so just to give them a tiniest little nip. Okay, and then I will put one in this side here. But again, I only do it up literally that far, about halfway. Halfway. And then you can't crank these ones up this side yet because you've got to do opposites again. But as I say, I can nip this to get it in place. Like so. This assembly again, we're going to pop back. Just goes in there and there. So you go over the top. You pop it into place. Get my arm out of the way, can you see that? And now we can do them up. So I always do top left first, and then I do bottom right, and then I do top right and bottom left. I'll do them in that order. So do, nip. Remember, you've got a Allen key here, which is that's stainless steel, and then you're just going into quite a fine thread, so just be a bit careful. Over tighten them, you will rip the thread straight out. Okay, so this is quite important, this gasket on this one. So once I've done it and I've got them how I want them, I repeat. So I just nip, just make sure, because sometimes they do just move. 3, 4. What's next, Isabelle? Can you remember?
No.
Okay, hose. So we pop that one out the way there. That goes on the bottom just here. That's it. We're going to pop the nozzle assembly in. So we just make sure the HT leads are out the way. Lift. Put that in there. Push it in and down. That is as simple as that. Change the old Allen key. So as you can see, I've done all this with just 2 Allen keys. Don't ask me the size because I don't know without looking. And just try and make it a bit neater and tidier. So get the HT leads round so they're in a good place, and pop them back on. And finally, lights out, goes in the middle. There's the little line of it there. That tends to go at the bottom like so. So that's that. Then we can drop that lead around there. That can go back on there. That's the wrong side of that. So never just leave it. Realise you've made a mistake and pop it back round again. Because at the end of the day, we don't always get it right first time. That's the wrong side as well. Like I say, it's just all about being nice and neat and tidy and compact. And then finally, we're going to pop that one on. That's essentially the main part of the service done. What we're going to look now is we're going to just make sure this pipe is okay. I know it is okay because I actually forgot to say when I was doing that, I did actually blow, and we know that's clear, so that's all good. And then we need to check this to make sure this hasn't gone stiff and brittle. It hasn't. You can see it's still very flexible. I will do it up the top as well. That's fine. Then you've got things up the top here like your heat resistant cable. Yes, it's heat resistant, but it can still go stiff. So I'm just checking that's still all very flexible. No leaks here, no leaks here, no leaks around here. I've explained this. This was a leak when we fitted it and we've done it straight away. There's been no sort of issues of leaks there, stuff like that. You've got your ruby red oil lines. These are fantastic. The reason they're so good is because they're an oil line with like outside coating now, and if it was to leak the oil line, the oil goes in the outside coating, so you can see it. 10-year lifespan. Okay, so they're absolutely fine. There's no leaks on the oil line in either, so that's all done. There's no leaks on there. We don't check the pressure on here like you would on most boilers. It's done through that an auto adjuster. That's done through the little screen when we come to set it up. So I'm now going to wipe and clean the bottom out here, and then I am going to put the machine on and we will be back. Even though this boiler's a couple of years old, it's relatively clean inside, but you still have to just clean the stuff, because then it always looks like it's new. There's no issues there. So I always try to wipe as much as I can, and when I leave, I wipe the outside. Just for the bottom and the outside, I'll just use elbow grease. Everyone knows about elbow grease, it's brilliant stuff. Okay, so we're just going to wipe it out. Brilliant. Aim up there, Isabelle. We're going to fix my leak we've created. I'm just going to fix my leak first, which is really good, isn't it? So I'm going to put that back up there. Job done. With these magnetic filters, they're pretty decent. You literally take the magnet out the top, if I can undo it, get a pair of grips. I do this occasionally. There we go. So magnet out the top first. These are really magnetic, so put them out of the way of anything. And then we're going to turn this back on again, because it should be on. Undo the little cap at the bottom. Put a bucket there, and then slowly release the rubbish out of there, and we will find that see that it's quite dirty. Now bearing in mind it was power flushed and that's a year later, that's just what the magnets picked up. So overall, yeah, not too bad. That's that part done, and then that will now be clean. We simply put the cap back on the bottom, Nice and neat. Make sure that's turned off properly. Get the magnet, pop it in again, and that's basically done its job just like we want. Okay, the other thing is we have a auto bypass up there. We're not going to touch it because there's no need to, but that's not leaking, so we have checked that as well, and that's all great. So we're going to go back onto the boiler now. I'm going to pop to the van. I'm going to get my machine and we're going to set the boiler up. We're going to set the boiler up. It's my favourite bag in the world, this. I hide it. So in the front we have personal monoxide alarm, obviously the Sapphire bit there, labeler, multimeter, thermal imaging camera. I love all that. So we're going to shut that side up. Chargers are in the front because we love that. We know people love to see tools. That's going to go on the boiler. And then we're going to spin it around. And in here we have one lead and a 958. There we go, that's what we've got. Right, Isabelle, let's go set it up, shall we?
Yep.
We are going to unplug here, and that is the display normally, okay, but I've got it turned off at the minute. And we're going to plug in the machine upside down. There we go. So we're going to just plug that in. 15 stages of modulation, this boiler, which is brilliant, but I must have told you that 800 times now. Going to turn it on, here we go, system loading. So we're going to press EOGB here, we're going to go next. This is all the pressures I've got and things I've got to set out at the moment. Okay, I'm going to remember that one, 1040, remember that. We're just going to go through. Initial pump pressure is 10, that's the firing. Max pump pressure is 20, which is the maximum pump pressure it runs at. It's a non-combination boiler because the combi's not out yet. That's my central heating point, 63. And here we go, this is where we're going to start it. So I'm going to go to 10, I'm going to go to 40, I'm going to wait and I'm going to press start. Now in a second, I've heard the pump start to do some work, the boiler should fire. Press start again, there we go. So now it's fired. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to increase, I'm going to go up one, go up a couple there, go up 3 or 4 bar there, go up a little bit. I'm just going to work it up to 20 bar. Right, and we're running. We're going to put the old machine in. I've pulled the bung out here. There is a point on the flue here, but I find that if you pull that out, it starts to mix fumes, so I don't do that anymore. And we're going to look at the machine. We want this to be just over 13 on the CO2. We want the O2 to be about 3. So we're just waiting for it to do its biz. A bit more air, so the fan speed I'm going to make from 57 probably to 59. He says. There we go. And we'll wait a little while. So now this basically decreases the CO2 by increasing the fan speed. And this will start to move. Here it goes. So the CO2 is dropping slightly. The O2 is going up and it's on 3.1. So I've got to just go slightly the other way again to 58. So anything from 2.9 to 3.1 the O2, ideally 3. That's 3 on there, that's absolutely fine, 13.3 perfect. Come back to here, we press set. Okay, it bips. I have to do this because I'm deaf. I then go down to 19 bar of pressure, like so, and I'm going to drop the fan speed by 2. We then wait, we get it at the same as this again, we press set. And then we keep going down 1 bar at a time. We go down and down and down until we get to 5 bar. When we get there, I'll be back. I've got it to where I want to be now. Just move that a little bit there. So it's ended up there. When you've finished, what you then do, all my readings like the space fish, you press back, you press save and finish, and that's it. It's as simple as that. And then the boiler will just fire itself into life again. So we're just going to pop that off there because it's going to be smelly otherwise. Here we go. Pull my machine out. Plug this one in and you can hear it fires an absolute dream. So that's basically the boiler done. I'm now going to put the top on, the front on. I'm going to give it a wipe over and, well, what we're going to do is, well, get some food, aren't we? Back to the van, get some food. Woo. So that is our Sapphire service. That's been running very clean, so I'm very happy with that. So hopefully Isabelle's got some footage, but you'll be finding out when you watch the vlog. We have jumped a little bit because we've had a McDonald's and McDonald's, so we're very happy because it was very yummy. So we're now going to a village called Cumberton, and it is a boiler that we went to a few weeks back with a few issues with it, etc. But it's still playing up. It's sort of like delayed ignition slightly, but I have a suspicion it might be a nozzle failure, might be starting to soot up, but we're just gonna have to wait and find out. That's where we're going. It's about 20 minutes away, but in your world it's about 3 seconds away. So we should be here now. Okay, so here we go, Camry 2, got delayed ignition, so I think it's starting to smoke, that's what I think, and potentially a pump issue. So we're going to have a little look in the top first. This is a very old boiler, relatively okay condition, but it is getting a bit tired, as you can tell by the insulation. Just 217s, I'll get a spanner, and I'm going to undo it. Always be careful never to over tighten these, otherwise it ends up pushing down there, and then it bends that in the middle and you get a leak. But this one's fine. Cut myself. One. And voila, it's not too bad, but we do need to clean that. I'll just get the hoover and then we'll start brushing it off. Right, so first thing we're going to do is be very careful because it's a very clean house here. So we need to make sure we don't make a mess. Get a 13mm and the burner out. And yes, I know I haven't got gloves on, but I've run out. Okay, it's quite dirty that, so we're just going to get a tray in a minute and we're going to brush that in a tray. This is just tired. There's nothing you can do about this. It's not worth replacing. There's nothing actually wrong with it. From that point of view, it's just old. I'm now going to get my hoover and put in there to start pulling the air down from that direction, and then we're going to brush all the dirt into the top. I lied. I found some. We're just going to clean the soot off the blast tube first. Right, so like I said before, I put it into a tray because obviously it means the dirt can't go anywhere then. Okay, so we're going to pull this PTFE off. Now, a lot of people are probably saying why you haven't used a rubber O-ring before on here. If you use the O-ring, because of the corrosion on the flange, it still leaks by, hence we use PTFE. So it's best just to get something like a screwdriver to pull that off with. Like so. Just going to undo the two blast tube screws. And there we go. Okay, so it's quite dirty behind there, so we're now going to clean behind there. I'm now just going to pop the electrodes out and we'll give them a little clean. So as you can see, we've got the worst of it off. Nice and pointy on the end is fine, and there's no cracks on here. So these electrodes are absolutely fine. Okay, so we're just going to go to the nozzle next, and we're going to change that, because that needs doing. That's a 16mm on there, which I will get now, and a 17mm on the other side. Grip. Check for signs of water. No, that's perfect oil on there. All looks good. I'm just cleaning around the nozzle holder before I put the new nozzle in. There we go. Again, don't over tighten these because you end up cracking that nozzle assembly. With these electrodes, they sit just proud a little bit, so I'm just going to push them back in again. And if you look there, Isabelle, they're going to go just about there, just a little bit proud. Sit, nip that up. So that's that part done. We'll put the blast tube back on. Tiny bit of corrosion starting there, but that's absolutely fine. And always make sure you get that side of it as well. Okay, you'll see that little hole at the bottom there. That's for the drip of the oil if necessary, so that means that it goes that way round, like so. With the screws, just nip them. Don't do them too tight, because if you do them too tight, you can have a problem next year. Perfect. Okay, I'll put some more tape around there shortly. Next thing we're going to do is just pop the control box off. Like so, that's not very old as you can see, so that'll be fine. I always just check the wiring on here. I just always give these a little nip to make sure they're okay. Brilliant. Okay, we'll check the pump next. Take the coil off like so, flick that over. Just get a 12mm spanner. Favourite tools are the old Joker spanners. Then like so. Well, as you can see on this occasion, they don't normally come undone, but you can see that's turning at the same time. So I'll nip that back up and I'll get something behind there. 19mm. There we go. And what you'll find is there'll be a tiny bit of oil dribble out of there, but because I'm in the tray, it doesn't matter. Before I take that right out because it's gone stiff, we've got some grub screws that hold the pump in. In this case, the third one's not there, so that's now loose, so I should be able to undo that easier. Pop it off. These aren't normally crossheads, they are sometimes, they're normally Allen keys. Right, there we go. So we're now going to turn it over and we're going to have a look. And this is the drive coupling here. There's the flat in the bottom, and that's just about halfway, so I'm going to change that, that's no good. So we're going to spin this. That's absolutely fine. If you look here, this is the way that the pump spins, so we're going to turn it over and we're going to turn this. 52 times of this is 1 revolution in there, so that's what we're going to do. No leaks there, that's absolutely fine, and that's fine there. We're now going to spin it over and check the fan on this side. Always worth checking the fan in case a little mousey or something's got in there. And as we can see, there's nothing going on in here. That's all good, that's perfect. And there's nothing going on there, but it's a little bit of dirt there, so we're just going to clean that out. Okay, the reason I had a screwdriver in there is because sometimes dirt gets built up in the fans, and then you can flick it off, because if you get reduced air, there's more chance of it sitting up. Spin that, quiet as a mouse, that's absolutely fine, so we'll stick that back on again. Same scenario, don't over tighten anything. So I always put them in loosely first, and then when it's out I go nip, nip, and nip. We now need to make sure that the fan's not catching, so we spin it over and we spin it from this side. That's absolutely fine. No need to check the capacitor because the capacitor's only a couple of weeks old, so we know that's okay. We'll put the drive coupling in and then get the pump. We spin the flat on the pump, which is here, and we line it up with there. Before we do that up, we always put the nozzle assembly in first because it makes it a lot easier to line up. Done that before, Isabelle, haven't I? Yes, I have. Okay, we'll do that. Do the 2 screws up. As I say, sometimes there's 3, but this hasn't got one, it's blanked. Coil back on. Okay, that's the burner done. In a bit of a dark hole here. So that's clean. On here, this rope seal's fine. That's getting a bit tired, but it's absolutely fine. We've been asked a few times about rope seals. I'm going to do a vlog on some requested stuff in the next few weeks, aren't we, Isabelle?
Yes, we are.
So we're going to do this. We're going to plonk that back on there. So we're just going to put the tape around the blast tube. As I say, normally we use O-rings, but we can't because it doesn't seal very well on this one. So sometimes you just have to do what you can do. And yes, you can put new brackets on and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, it's about being cost effective to the customer on an old boiler as well. Okay, in we go. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a gauge in and we're going to fire it up. Okay, pump pressure done, but stupidly forgot to record it. I'm just going to put the top on again. As you can see, this is very sticky, so we've got to be careful. So when you set these boilers up, the front must be on the boiler because it's a room-sealed balanced flue. Front panel, etc. here has still got insulation around it like on here. So I'm going to fire it with the front door on it. Oh, so yes, that was partly suited up like I expected, and yes, it was primarily down to the nozzle. But yeah, very frustrating that, because you put a new nozzle in and you expect it to do what it's supposed to do, but it didn't. We tried to video what we could of that, as you've probably just seen, but there was a few grey areas there because it was essentially quite a small space with a torch and it was in a very dark area. So sorry if that is a bit grey. Hopefully you got the gist of it. I never recorded putting the pump gauge in the end because we forgot. To be honest, the customer was there as well, and also I went round and done the combustion test on the other side and didn't spot the dot. So moving on now, we're just popping up to see Ryan. Ryan and Ben this morning are ripping an old oil tank out for a customer, and there's a new plastic one going at some stage soon. So it's an old metal massive 2600 tank, and unfortunately it doesn't go through the gates in the garden, so they've got to slide it to one side, slice it open, and then when they've done that, they'll drop that back to the unit, which is where we're going now, because I believe that's already done, and they had a small fire. And then they're going to go back, knock the piers over. That's that job done for them. I do believe Ben, in between the jobs, is going to pop and do a service as well, but obviously we won't be able to vlog that because Isabelle's with me, aren't you, Isabelle?
Yes, I am.
Yes, she is. Okay, so yeah, that's where we're going now anyway. So yeah, let's get on with it.
Beep, beep, beep.
Get that. Stand back. Right.
Ryan looks like he should be in a Top Gun movie.
Take my breath away.
Okay, so it looks like Ryan's doing okay and survived everything. I've unloaded the trailer and he's going to go off now and get the rest of the rubble from there so he can get all the rest of his jobs. We're now just popping to see Lee. Lee's been doing some work at a property for a while on and off now, hot and colds and stuff like that. And I'm going to hopefully go tomorrow and start doing a boiler installation there. Lee's got a lot of the pipe work in for me. When I was on my honeymoon, the boys actually managed to get the old boiler out, etc. Yeah, it's down to me to put the new boiler in tomorrow. And let's go! It's a nice village, this Bourne. This is one of our better customers. We really like this guy. Unfortunately, his wife just passed away, so we decided to get a bungalow and move into that, so we feel sorry for him. What's happening here is, Lee's in there, we'll go find him in a minute.
We're going to go surprise him.
This is an old, yeah, we're going to surprise him. This is an old base, but the base is fine. So the boys have put an oil tank here. This was actually on the vlog last week, I believe.
Oh, I recognise it.
I'm sure it was. And it's 2'6" away from the fence, so it's correct. It's got enough concrete all around it, so it's correct. And the oil line there. We are going to do something with this because it's bare pipe onto the ground, so I'm going to modify that. That's not quite right, boys, so I'll have a look at that. And if we come around here, looks like Lee's been busy because he's got all the pipes poking through the wall. We'll just be like that. Like that, okay? So the old oil tank was... It's all been Lee's definitely here. This is where the old oil tank was, and it had leaked. Was a bit of this was in the vlog last week, I believe, or no, even the week before maybe, when I was on my honeymoon. Okay, so that's where the old one was. So the boys ripped the boiler out, which was in that vlog as well. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do next. Lee's actually here for himself as well, because Lee essentially is self-employed, but he does a lot of work with us, or for us as well. There's the oil line coming up there. We need a bit of marker tape. We need to bury that. It's going to come up. There's going to be a fire valve, then an isolation valve, filter fire valve. That will pop through the wall, and then it's shut at the moment. The boiler's going to go in here. Okay, inside here, there's some hot and colds that come down. They come up. They come along here, and they sort of end up over there. And this is what Lee's been doing. Lee's done all this here. He's plumbed in all the sink and that, or he's in the middle of plumbing the sink in here. He's got two new pipes he's put up there, and then we come around here and hopefully we find him. There he is, hiding there. Say morning or afternoon or evening. Here he is. So as I say, Lee's doing this himself, so he's just second fixing the bathroom now and getting on with that, so it's all looking good. This was the old airing cupboard. This has all been ripped out of here. I think Sparky's wiring the place up as well, which is good. Our only concerns here, to be really honest, is this has been empty for 4 or 5 years. We're worried about a lot of these pipes, because when you go upstairs into the loft, they're literally green, horrible. We're going to pressure check the system because we think there's some of the pipes are probably split as well. Obviously, the guy's quite keen for me to finish the boiler, but clearly he's got the radiators off the wall, so at the moment I couldn't even do that anyway. Echo, echo, echo. That's it. Okay, so we're going to come round here. So Lee's putting all his hot and colds in there. That's the only place in the kitchen. There's no more, is there, Lee? It's just in here, isn't it? Hot and colds?
Yep.
Yeah, that's it. So that's what he's up to. And then we've got another main coming across here. He's going to go down into here, but obviously I can't get in here. We're going to drop into the ground. We're going to come underneath here. We're going to come up here. And there's going to be a water feed in here, which is his lovely new shed. And that is the idea. So that's where we are. We're going to have a chat with Lee privately, and we'll be back in the vein in a minute. And so that's checked in with Lee. That's all good. I'm putting a boiler in tomorrow because the customer has chased a little bit, wanting it up and running, but I've just noticed that he hasn't even got any oil in his tank yet, and Lee hasn't even got all his hot and colds in, and there's radiators off the wall and stuff like that. So I might actually do something else tomorrow, if I'm honest, because it's a bit pointless of me putting all that in at the moment when it's just going to sit there. I don't know, I'll decide tomorrow anyway. Right, we were going back to the office, weren't we, Isabelle?
We were, yeah.
But we just had another job come in a place called Cowdico.
Work never stops.
What's that?
Work never
stops. It was supposed to be a morning with me. It's now 2 o'clock. So we are going to Cowdico, and unfortunately it's an elderly lady that has died. We're just about to get hammered by a lorry, and he's gone. Okay, yeah, so it's an elderly lady that unfortunately has died, and it's her daughter that's in the house clearing out, doing bits and bobs, and there's a problem with the boiler. Now, I think it's a recurring problem. I do think it done it back in the winter when the lady was in a home, and I think it's just an airlock. But I had spoke to her about controls upgrades and stuff like that, because nothing made sense in the house. It's a very old system. I believe that her father, when he lived there, had done a lot of work himself. So obviously it's all a bit of a hicklety-picklety mess, as they say. So that's what we're going to go and look at now. Hopefully it'll be straightforward, and we will go from there. So here we go again. Blimey. That was a flipping long one.
Blimey, guys, honestly.
Blimey. Right, so basically we couldn't record that, and it's very sad, okay, because like it was the daughter there, and unfortunately, yeah, she was very sad, very, very upset, because obviously her mum had just died. We do really feel for you. They've got a leak in the ground, basically. They've had home serve out. They say there isn't a leak. It's very obvious there's a leak because the pipes are soaked. So I think home serve are going back. But there's a lot of pipes in the ground there. None look like they've got pipe insulation over them or anything like that. So I think they're all rotting. To be really honest with you, it was repiping, which isn't ideal. And it's got a 40-year-old plus boiler there. And the cylinder looks like it's about just as old. And the controls are terrible. And it's just basically... it's tired, it needs updating, but trying to explain that to an upset person is very hard. So that's why we didn't video that one, because very clearly it would have been wrong to do so. So there we go. That is it. That is my morning done with Isabelle. Isabelle, are you asleep after that one?
Yeah,
yes, you are. Okay. So that is our morning done. Well, a bit longer than that. It's about 3 o'clock now. I hope you enjoyed the vlog. We tried to do something a bit different this week. Thought it'd be a bit of fun. Please feel free to comment, subscribe like you all do. We would love it. And yeah, next week or the week after potentially, we're going to do a request one. We've had 4 or 5 requests for various things that people want to see. Really simple things like pipe insulation, to how to do glass rope properly, about Sterling burners, stuff like that. If anyone's got any ideas of something that they're not sure about that they want me to try and cover over the next few months or whatever, I'm more than happy to do it for them. I've got plenty of content that I'm planning to do, but because we have been asked about so many different things, I thought it might be a good idea to actually show some of them in a vlog. So that's what I plan on doing. But so that might be next week, the week after. Anyway, have a great weekend, everybody. And as always, until next time, from Isabelle and me, stay safe.